Welcome to the Manifestation Pod. We're Sam and Louise, two ordinary mums living extraordinary lives.
Every 2 weeks, we're diving into a new well-being, self-care or self-development topic that we've used to manifest a life of joy.
We want you to join us on this journey. We are all about building a community of people who are ready to do the same, manifest their best life, one step at a time.
So grab a cuppa, get comfy, and let's get started. Good morning, welcome to the Manifestation Pod with me, Louise and Sam. So today is, I've forgotten it already, Season 2, Episode 9, is that right, Sam? Yay! And today we're going to talk about rest, which will be interesting because I really don't have very much to say about rest, and Sam is the queen of rest. So, let's see what happens with that. But as ever, we'll start with a little check-in. How are you, Sam?
Yeah, I'm good actually, really good. I'm having a good week. My little one, she's not so little, is she? But Iris is poorly today, so. But yeah, in general, really, really good. I feel like I'm slightly, ever so slowly waking up from my winter nap. I'm not like getting too excited and going for it, but I'm like, oh, some of the like seeds that I planted over winter are showing little green shoots in the business. So that's quite exciting.
Yeah, that is exciting. I felt like it's on, I don't know what day it is again. What day is it? When was the weather really nice? Yesterday. It was very sunny. And on Saturday as well, although it was absolutely freezing, it was really sunny. So yeah, I'm feeling the same. I've got some literal little buds shooting up in my garden, which I think are daffodils. So yay! Yay for spring!
Oh no, it's a nice moment, isn't it? It really is. I mean, I love so much about winter, and with all my like tuning into nature, winter's gone so fast. And we've still got a bit to go, but yeah, you can't beat that, can you? When I went out yesterday morning, the snowdrops had come up, and I was just like, oh, I'm so happy to see you.
Yeah, it feels like we're on the way out, even though, like you say, we have got a little bit to go. But yeah, it's all good. I like the winter before Christmas. I'm not keen on this time of year particularly. I quite like January because it's all fresh and exciting, but February never really serves me well. So yeah, I need to think about how to combat that.
Yeah, exactly. Well, maybe some rest, seeing as
Yay!
it's winter. So that could time right, couldn't it?
Yeah, definitely.
Absolutely. Shall we dive in then to rest?
Yeah, let's do it.
So I thought I would set the scene a little with like kind of my journey with rest and why I'm now the queen of rest, as you said. I quite like that. I have started calling myself, I don't think you even know this, I've not really said it out loud, the High Priestess of Peace.
Oh, I like that.
So I know it's a bold statement, but it's something that came to me a while ago, and I never even shared with anyone. And then recently I was like, I'm going to own that because peace is my thing.
Yeah, I like that. Both quite. I've got a peace tattoo on my arm, so that's my word as well, peace. But yeah, I'm all about that.
Love that. I love that. How did I not know you had a peace?
Did you know I've got like a Chinese? I mean, I've had it since I was, oh God, I can't even remember. Early 20s, late teens, a very, very long time. But yeah, I've got a little tiny one on my arm. But yeah, that says peace. So yeah.
I love it. We've been swimming so many times and I've never even noticed.
Yeah, I mean, it is really tiny. I wasn't supposed to have one on my arm. It was supposed to be on my back. That's a long story. And it was a very impulsive last-minute decision to have it on my arm. And I think as he was doing it, I was like, make it small, because I panicked over the placement of it.
Oh, well, you'll have to show me next time I see you now.
Yeah, I mean, clearly no one's noticing it. So, he did his job well.
Oh, so my journey with rest really started properly, obviously, after I left my job. in the civil service. Before that, apart from wanting to rest more when I was in a very busy civil service career, rest never really featured much in my life. So I think I've talked loads on the pod now about like having PTSD. When I left, I was really unwell. And rest was a massive part of that recovery. And leaving that job and going into my charity job gave me the beautiful advantage of being able to live a rested life for the first time in my life, which was, you know, a beautiful privilege to have at that time, but something I needed so much because my body and my mind were just completely in a mess and needed it. So for me at that time, it was walks in the woods, primarily, and walks anywhere. That's, you know, doesn't sound very restful, but being able to start my day and go for a walk in the woods and just take my time and be with my own thoughts was how my rested journey kind of really started. And I only really shared with close friends at the time that like that's how my days were started, because it felt almost like I was doing something wrong, or like if anyone found out that I started my workday by going for a walk, I don't know, I'd get in some kind of trouble or something. I think that that domination of like the workplace and the way I'd been treated and everything stayed with me for quite a long time, really. So that was the beginning of my rested journey. And obviously, just I think before all that, I knew about yoga nidra, but not much. I think I'd been practicing it with someone. And so after I'd sort of recovered a bit from my PTSD and used yoga nidra to help as part of that, as well as the walks and everything, I started understanding the benefits of yoga nidra, which is the sleep of yoga, to help heal my PTSD and help further enhance my rested life. So then yoga nidra came in, and when I first understood what yoga nidra was, as like the 10 minutes at the end of most yoga classes, I was kind of like, oh, that's the bit I have always loved, that bit where you lie down.
Oh my God, yeah, it's the best.
Yeah, isn't it? Just chill. And I'd always enjoyed meditation, but never really done it properly. But once I started to understand more about yoga nidra and started to train in it, I just started to understand how those benefits were just huge and unseen to me. And I think part of what I understood about it and how it healed trauma and like literally regenerates cells, it just blew my mind, because when I was first diagnosed with PTSD in 2018, 19, something like that, if I'd have known then that I could like lie down and be guided by someone's voice and heal my trauma, like I would have just been amazed, because then me only knew like talking therapies and like standard ways to treat it. And I did have all those therapies and they all played their place in my recovery. But they didn't recover like my soul and my spirit. They kind of stitched my brain back together and enabled me to go back to work, live a normal life, which was wonderful after you've been through trauma. But I was still so lost and kind of disconnected from myself and my body. And to then find out a couple of years later that there's this really gentle practice that is rest-based, that you know has helped me connect back to my body, helped me find myself, helped me find a big depth of spirituality. Like I would have bitten someone's hand off to find something like that then.
Yeah, absolutely. And I suppose then, if you don't suffer from PTSD, so when you talk about rest, even the fact that me and you have, lots of conversations about this, I don't really know what that means. I don't really know what resting means.
Yeah. So rest means different things to different people. It's like your mind and my mind work so differently, and what you find restful and what I find restful is completely different, isn't it?
Yeah, totally.
But it does have to be something that like quiets your mind and is calm to have, that effect on you. And that could be a 15-mile run, if that's what quiets your mind and brings you calm. Or it could be, I know you do, like sometimes tidying up's really calming for you, isn't
Yeah,
it?
it is. Yeah.
Yeah. And I know it doesn't sound restful, but if that brings you a feeling of rest and restoration, then that's rest for you. And that's all good.
Yeah, I do find my mind is quieter when I'm in a very clean and tidy space. In fact, Charlotte made a comment this morning about the house not being very homely, which I felt really sad about. And I know what she means. Charlotte's a clutterer. She likes stuff around her, lots of stuff that she can see. And I'm very minimalist. So we're gonna have to change that really. So we both get a bit of it in the house itself. But yeah, I do find that very calming. But I've had experiences when I went to a yoga retreat and did a sound bath for the first time. And weirdly, the day that I went, I was absolutely dying of flu. I felt so ill.
Yeah.
And at the end of it, when we did the sound bath, I absolutely conked out. I think I was snoring. I was definitely dribbling. I might have talked about this on the pod at the time, but that really, I felt very, very rested after that. Like I felt amazing, completely spaced out, but amazing.
Yeah.
So yeah, it would be good to do something like that on a, I don't know, weekly basis, something like that. Because I think I definitely need that. My mind never stops. And funnily enough, I read a quote this week. It wasn't a quote actually. I was listening to a podcast, and I think it was Mel Robbins. Oh my God, it resonated so much. She was saying the quickest way for her mind to stop is to drink alcohol.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh my God, that's me. If I want to stop thinking about something, if I have a drink, because I get drunk very, very quickly, it calms my mind down. And now I'm not drinking, I don't have that anymore. So I've found since I've stopped drinking, my mind is just on overload 24/7, never stops.
Yeah. So it's finding that thing. What about when you go swimming? Is your mind still?
The thing with swimming is I get very bored swimming. So I find things to think about. So, for example, what I usually do when I'm swimming, I hate food preparation. Like in my head, planning meals. I do that when I'm swimming because I find that it's a job done. It gives me something to think about without thinking, what can I think about? I think I panic when I don't have anything to think about. It's not normal for me not to be thinking.
Yeah.
So swimming doesn't, if I do 20 lengths, which is my norm at the moment, I don't find that restful. But if I get to 40, the last 10 lengths, my mind completely quietens down. And that's the most benefit I get out of it. But trying to do 40 lengths. So you walk first thing in the morning, I swim. Oh, I just find it, I just don't want to be in there for an hour. Yeah.
Yeah, you've
I
got.
do need Yeah, I need to go back to yoga because that used to really quieten my mind. I'm just struggling to find a class that fits in with my schedule, but yeah, maybe that would be a good shout.
Yeah, definitely. Because if you think of your mind as like, I don't know, a computer that needs to shut down, obviously you shut it down at night to go to sleep, but to have space to dream and imagine and create all the things that you want in your life, you do need to clear your brain out at other times as well to make
Yeah,
those things to come in. And the more dream space you can create for yourself by quieting the mind, the more will come through.
I'm definitely aware of that. I do know that, but it happening. And it's worked on, that absolutely worked. So I had a dilemma the other day and I just thought, I need to stop thinking about this. And the minute I stopped thinking about it, I dreamt of the solution. So it comes through to you. And I do know that, but I think I just find it. But interestingly, work. So I'm toying with the idea of going back to work full time. And I think at the moment, I think I've got too much time on my hands. And when I've got time on my hands, I'm thinking constantly, but not necessarily of, there's no structure to it almost. Whereas when I'm in work, like yesterday, I worked a full day on the Monday. I've not done that in nearly 2 years. And because I was concentrating on work, I worked all day. I finished work. I cooked. I sorted the dishes out. I sat down with Charlotte. I had some quality time with her. There was a lot of structure to the day. My mind was really quiet last night because it was tired. And I do wonder, for me, if too much time on my hands, particularly because my business isn't really going the way I want it to at the moment, I feel like I keep using this word, I feel like I'm flailing. And when I'm in that mode, my mind is constantly 100 miles an hour. What can I do? What can I do? What can I do? I feel like my purpose has gone. And my mind is constantly trying to think of what that could be.
Yeah, that's hard, isn't it? That is hard.
It's tiring. Yeah. So maybe I do need to think about, maybe it'll come naturally with working a bit more than I was doing, because since probably last summer, I've not worked. I keep saying, oh, like I'm working on my business, but I'm not. I've stopped since last summer. So I'm like a bored housewife, I feel like, and I've just got a lot of thinking time.
Yeah.
And because I'm not used to that and I don't like it particularly, I'm like, right, what can I do? What can I do? What can I do? And my mind is just like constantly searching for that thing.
Yeah. Well, maybe then my little challenge to you, because I think we might need a two-parter on rest.
Yeah, maybe.
My little challenge to you before the next one then is find something restorative that you can build a structure in. So whether that's finding yoga or whatever restorative practice works for you, but build a structure around it, because you clearly thrive off structures
Yeah.
your day, and they work so well to you. So make rest and restoration part of that, because if you like bored and thinking when you've got time, then the ways that you're spending that quiet time are not restorative. You're not restorative benefits from them. So you need to find something to structure in to your week that is restorative.
Yeah. Yeah, I definitely do. And I think even swimming, as much as I do enjoy it and I feel the physical benefits of it, it doesn't do much for my mind at all. It's just exercise. And I go walking on a Sunday, I'm with other people. It's lovely, but it doesn't really quiet my mind. Nothing really. I do actually think I've got ADHD. Nothing quietens my mind, particularly when I've not got something to focus on, a goal to strive towards. That's when I'm in normal mode, when I'm doing that. And if you take that away from me, I am just like, yeah, my mind's just 100 miles an hour. So yeah, I definitely, in fact, I'm going to do that. I'm going to find a yoga class this week that I can fit into my schedule and go. And because I find yoga, because you've got to concentrate on poses, that's quite mindful. You're just thinking about your body and how it's reacting to what the teacher's telling you. It doesn't really give you time for much else. And after a couple of poses, I go into quite like my mind falls asleep, for want of a better word. I don't think at all. I feel very, very rested and asleep, or I used to. I mean, I've not done yoga for a couple of years, but I used to sleep, if I'd done a yoga class, like the dead. I mean, I sleep like the dead most of the time anyway, but I felt like I had really quality sleep when I did yoga.
Well, maybe that's it for you then, because getting into your body in that way with something like yoga is a really good way to quiet your mind and get into that restorative state.
Yeah.
Because I'm going to give a list of like what some different ways to rest are, which I think.
Oh, cool.
But I was just thinking that the brain state that doing the meditation like Nidra takes you to is called the delta brain state. And in that, you can only have 1 to 3 thoughts per second. So it's the most restorative state that your brain can get into. So it gives you more restoration than sleep.
Wow.
It can reduce and remove cortisol from your system. So, that thing that gets generated when you're anxious, and that's where like your cells begin to regenerate. So there's proper like science behind like the healing benefits of it. So for you, going to yoga might be how you get into that state and get into your body like that. So well worth doing. And if people don't rest, it's the reason why people get ill when they're so busy and don't stop as well, because they're not getting enough restoration to heal anything. So they don't have any time to heal. And ever since I left work, I don't think I can't even tell you like how many times I've been ill. Like I've not been ill in general since I started resting. Like I've got a bit of a tickly throat now, but it never progresses beyond that, touch wood. Since I stopped burning myself out and since I started the rest of life. And, I'm not the healthiest person in the world. I need to lose weight. I need more exercise. But this rest is really helping my health massively. My immunity is 10 times better than it ever was before.
That's interesting. It's funny. I was ill. Was it before Christmas? I was ill twice last year, where I was actually in bed for a number of days, and I find that I'm getting ill every other year. I seem to have a year where I don't have any sickness, then I have a year where I pick up, a couple of things. But I think what I need to do, particularly if I do go back to work, into the day to day, because I'm very good at working at 100 miles an hour, and I can do it and do it. I'm like a Duracell bunny. I don't stop. I'm very good at working at that level, but that doesn't always serve me well, and it certainly doesn't serve my health well. So I need to be mindful of that, really.
Yeah, absolutely. Be very, very mindful, because I'm the same, or I was, and I healed myself from it with rest after leaving HMRC, but then I burnt myself out again last year, but in a different way, in a sort of more mental, spiritual way, but from overworking again. And I've got this new book by someone called Tricia Hersey, which is now becoming my manifesto of rest. It's called Rest Resistance. And she describes burnout as trauma. She's like, let's just call it what it is. Like, you've suffered some kind of trauma because you've overworked or whatever you've done, and you need to heal from it. It's just called burnout because that's quite a good way for work to describe it, for you to just, have a week off and come back. But like it's a form of trauma, which makes so much sense.
Yeah, it does. Now, no, when I've been really up against it, time-wise, and I've got a lot going on, I do it. And this was before, this hasn't happened for a good couple of years because I've not worked full-time. But if I'm really up against it, I'm very good at managing it at the time. But the minute it's over and it all calms down, I get ill every single time.
That happens to so many of us, doesn't it? Like,
I think adrenaline keeps you going, doesn't it?
Yeah, even last year, like I did an event for the charity last April, and it was dead busy, and I managed the event, but the event carried on for like the second day, and but on the second day I woke up and I was just throwing up, just like uncontrollably, and it was total like adrenaline come down.
Yeah,
all it was, because I'd kept going so much. And those are the only kind of sicknesses I get now, like something like that that's got a very sort of direct, stress correlation, or that time when I had that one glass of wine before I came sober. So yeah, it's got so many health benefits, which that alone should be enough for us to do it. But we live in a world that doesn't encourage us to rest. Our workplaces don't encourage rest. The people around us don't encourage rest. Most of us have not been brought up in a way that encourages rest. So we're kind of fighting against a whole lot of systems that don't want us to rest. So it's very difficult.
In fact, one step further than that is it's not really, life isn't geared up to be healthy.
No.
At all. Like food that's available to us are usually more unhealthy than healthy. You've got to search for the healthy stuff. So yeah, you're right. And we don't prioritise rest at all, do we? I was just thinking then maybe I could incorporate some mindfulness while I'm swimming of some description, just because I do that 3 times a week, sometimes 4. I'm in the habit of doing it. It's half an hour in the morning where if I could figure out some kind of, I don't know, meditation while I'm swimming, something, that would be a good opportunity to do that as well.
Yeah. And you could maybe start by focusing on your breath.
Yeah, I do try and do that sometimes when I'm swimming, because I think as well, I'm built to be efficient. So in my head, I'm like, right, I'm going for a swim, but while I'm doing it, I'm going to plan the week's food. And that's what I'm doing. So I'm always doing 2 things at once. I do try not to do that. And I do, some days I'm like, right, come on, chill out, take a breath. I don't need to be like a sergeant major 100 miles an hour. I can calm down. But it doesn't come easily to me, that. I think we're very, very different. I think we're on complete different sides of the spectrum when it comes to things like resting. I think just the way you are, you're more restful in your nature, aren't you? You're calmer, you're slower. I'm just fast with everything.
People, isn't it? To be fair,
Yeah.
But some of that is, some of that will be your brain, absolutely. Like I work with a lot of people now in the Nidra classes that have ADHD and sort of say the same, yes, I lay down and yes, I rested and I got some benefits, but quite in my mind, no, it doesn't come easy. It takes a lot of practice. I do think it's kind of ADHD friendly for sure. But
yeah, definitely.
You probably have to work harder when your brain's that busy.
I mean, funny enough, when I did yoga, it used to come really easily at the end. And the yoga teacher always used to say it's very difficult to clear your mind. But I always used to, when I was lay flat, I always used to get that place of like, you almost feel like you stop breathing because you're not doing anything at all. Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely.
You feel like you're not even there. You're that relaxed. And I could get there very quickly at the end. I think because the whole yoga practice, and it's usually, I don't even know how long a Nidra class is, but a typical yoga class is an hour and a half, which is quite long for an exercise class. And you're very controlled with it. So it is very slow. It naturally slows you down, yoga. So then probably because I've done that, by the time I'm lay flat on the floor, my body's tired, my mind's tired, and it's ready for that practice of doing nothing and quieting your mind.
Yeah. So you've got it in you because like you do drop into meditation.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, get back to yoga.
Yeah. So yeah, I'll make that a little plan this week to find a yoga class.
Yeah, brilliant. And report back on the benefits.
Yes. Yeah, we'll do a part 2.
Yeah, absolutely. So let me give you a little list of what rest is from Tricia Hersey's book, because I think this will really help people because it's hard to know. So she says, rest must be practiced daily until it becomes our foundation. So true. And when do we ever do that? So resting can look like closing your eyes for 10 minutes, a longer shower in silence, meditating on the couch for 20 minutes, daydreaming by staring out of a window, sipping warm tea before bed in the dark, slow dancing with yourself to slow music, experience a sound bath or other sound healing, one of your faves.
Yep.
sun salutation, a 20-minute timed nap. You're pretty good at them as well, actually.
I love a 20-minute time nap. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. She says praying, crafting a small altar for your home, a long warm bath, taking regular breaks from social media. Amen to that.
Yeah, definitely.
Not immediately responding to texts and emails. Who does that? I've not done that for years, but people do, don't they? Deep listening to a full music album. A meditative walk in nature. Knitting, crocheting, sewing, quilting. Playing a musical instrument. Deep eye contact and laughing intensely. So there you go, 20 simple ways to rest.
Yeah, that's interesting. Funnily enough, sewing, which I've not done since I've lived in this house, but that's very mindful for me because all I'm concentrating on is what I'm doing at that time, like literally stitch by stitch.
Yeah, well, that might be another one to get back.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I've thought about that recently. Oh, yeah, I've got some great ideas to go away and implement, so that's good.
Yeah, so yeah, I think we're kind of timing out, aren't we? So we definitely need a part 2 because I've got so much more to say about rest. My rest this year is getting really radical because I've been kind of really quiet in a way and under the radar with it. And now this year, I'm just like, no, I'm going to get like really loud and radical and use this book from Tricia Hersey as like my rest manifesto. So yeah, I think we should get into that next time because it's a big one and it's exciting and it's changing the way I run my business. It's changing the way I rest myself. And hopefully it's going to change the way the world rests if I get it out there.
Yeah, definitely. And that's what we all need. We all need to just be a bit calm down a little bit, don't we?
Yeah. And you all need to come to my nap club. You can come now because it's at weekends.
Oh my God, yeah, I definitely want to come to your nap club.
Yeah, come to rest in the hammocks and have a nap in those. I think you'll love the hammocks. They're really good for the busiest of minds because they just kind of give you like a sensory cuddle that just sort of sink in even quicker. So yeah, you really need to come to one of those.
Yeah, no, we'll arrange that. I'll definitely do that one weekend. I keep seeing, I've not seen one locally though, but sound baths where you're actually in a pool on a lilo with a blanket. I mean, I'm scared of drowning because I will fall asleep. But yeah, every time I look at that, I feel rested. Yeah, there's lots of good things to try out there. But yeah, nap club, I love it.
Yeah, I know. I can't wait. I've got 2 this weekend and like I feel like I've had a nap. I'm like hosting it and delivering it, but I feel just as rested as the people there.
Oh, that's really good.
It's magical. Rest is magical.
Yeah, it is. And napping is something I can definitely do. I can do it anytime, any place, anywhere.
Well, there you go. There's one. So yeah, I'll share that list of rest things in the show notes. So maybe if you're listening, you could try 1 or 2 of them before the next episode and let us know how you get on and we'll find out how Lou got on with scheduling in some yoga. Hopefully get into nap clubs as well.
Definitely.
Awesome. Okay. Thanks for listening, everyone. Have a good rest and we'll see you in 2 weeks.
Bye. Thanks for joining us today on the Manifestation Pod. We hope you feel inspired to start creating the life that you've been dreaming of.
Remember, we're all in this together and we'd love for you to be part of our community. So don't forget to subscribe, share and connect with us on socials.
We're here every 2 weeks, so catch us next time with more tips and tools to help you manifest the life you deserve.
Until then, keep believing, keep manifesting and keep living that extraordinary life. Bye!
Bye!